So, guys, let's continue with the DevOps. So, again, multiple plans, guys, today to discuss. I would like to again move to the Jenkins, right? Even though in the Jenkins we have discussed again multiple things, but I have some more plans to be implement on the Jenkins, right? So, so let me launch my OS. Okay. So a main plan for today is to talk some more advanced stuff on the Jenkins. And if we got the time today, we'll see some more advanced Prometheus query language. Even though basic query we have discussed in my last classes, but if we got the time today, we will see some advanced Prometheus query. So today, guys, what we are going to do, we are going to discuss some new concepts on the Jenkins, and very interesting, very powerful, or a little bit advanced also. But maybe after you understand the concept, you will feel conceptually. If you understand, you feel now we can very easily can develop and deploy this, right? So technically, what we are going to do on the Jenkins. If you try to link till now, right, we are trying to automate as much as we can. Okay, to achieve to achieve the automation, right? And if we achieve the automation, it will help us in the rapid deployment or the rapid delivery or rapid troubleshoot the things, multiple things we can got from the automation world. But if you try to link till now, let's say very quickly, if I yes, again explain the same kind of demo we have seen multiple times. So developer create a code. After the developer create the code, it push and we push it to the HCM system like GitHub. And then we have a Jenkins that keep on checking, right? And whenever the new code come up, they go and download the code from the HCM system. And after they download the code from the HCM system, in the Jenkins we have a job. Okay, so somebody has created one job in the Jenkins. Created one job in the Jenkins. The job is keep on checking, right? Maybe either we put the trigger here, we put the trigger in the SCM. It's called SCM pool, a poll, and something changed. We run this job, they download the code, and depend whatever code would be Jenkins, we write one more job, or maybe in the same job they will do something. It's called build something. They put the code on the Dockers, or so maybe they copy this code on the Docker, and on the Docker we launch our web service. So very basic, typical example we have seen multiple time and with multiple different contexts, right? So in this part, if you understood till now, in this part, we try to make everything as much as automate we can do. Even though as soon as the developer commit the code, we also put hooks here. As they commit the code, hooks automatically upload the code. We also put trigger here. As the code come up, the contact to Jenkins and they run the Jenkins jobs. And when the job run, Jenkins automatic contact to Docker and publish or run run our containers there. So everything is automated till here, right? But if you notice, one thing here is manual. Again, I'm repeating, one thing over here is manual. Okay, you know what is that manual thing, right? The manual thing is uh, the creating a job is manual. Again, I'm repeating, creating a job is manual. What I mean by this, right? If I go to my Jenkins, so this is my operating system, let me log in. And guys, this is a very powerful thing, and we use this concept a lot in the real world. And maybe by this example, you might come to know some more thing about DevOps. Even though from my side, I haven't talked about DevOps yet. even though even though all the topics that we have learned till yet. It is a part of DevOps only, but what is the actual meaning of DevOps? I haven't discussed yet, but maybe today you guys gonna get some some concepts of and some of the right meaning of the DevOps. Okay, but before this, let me take the IP of this system. And this is a system where we are running with the Jenkins. So let me pick the IP of the system. IP is 101. And let me launch IP 101. Let me connect to my Jenkins. Okay. So guys, in the Jenkins is a tool who help you in the integration part, or who help you to create a automation world. But in the Jenkins, something is there that we have to do manual, and that something is some of my developer, or not my developer, some of my DevOps engineer, or some of my operation guy, or some of my admin admin of the Jenkins. Okay, admin of Jenkins, they go and log into the Jenkins the way I do. After they log into the Jenkins, they create the job according to the requirement. Okay, and what is the requirement? Requirement is to download the code from my GitHub. But how my admin know? How I admin know from where to download the code from? The code is been uploaded by the developers. So developers are the one who know where they uploaded the code. So in my case, for example, I uploaded my code in my GitHub, and the repository that I used to upload is this one. Initially I was using this repository. So I know this is the repository I used to upload the code, right? So as a developer, we have to contact to the admins, who is the Jenkins admin, and tell these guys that this is the code and this is the location where we have uploaded my code. But you guys know, I told you initially, right? Normally we have a silos between team. Developer is a different team altogether, and admin is a different team altogether. So again, communicating with this team sometimes would be very hard or challenging, right? To update this guy that this is the code where I am uploading. Accordingly, to just go and configure the job. Because guys, when admin or the Jenkins admins create a job, so what we have to write? What we have to write? We have to, let's say my job is A B B freestyle job. So we have to ask this URL from my developer, and whatever the URL they have, we have to write here. This part, right? But how this URL? You have to ask your developer. How? Obviously manually, mail, or again this is the manual thing. Second thing, manual thing is you have to manually go and copy this code. You have to manually go and copy this URL. After you copy this URL, then save, or maybe you write some pool SCM, or you write every minute you go to the GitHub and do something. Again, we are writing here is manual, right? But interesting thing is how you have to write every minute, okay, or you have to write every 5 minutes, because you are the admin, right? How every 5 minutes update? Okay, because developer are the one who know rightly, because they are the one who know how frequently they are updating the code. Okay, maybe they know every day they update. So again, developer has to tell to you every day, every day or every 5 minutes updating code. So keep on polling the SCM, keep on downloading the code after 5 minutes. Okay, then you after do this, they are the one who know the code has been written in let's say in Maven. So you write your build tool would be your Maven, or you write your build tool would be your Linux commands where you run the Docker commands. so so technically again there's a lot of communication we have to do between the teams, between the developers and the admins, or the Jenkins admins, or the operations guys. Okay, why? Because developers are the one who know more about the code, about the code. And why we have to do the communications? One of the reason is, normally Jenkins is a tool are normally come into the category of admin tools or the IT tools or the operations tools. So normally admins or the operations teams are the one who manage this, because they know how to install the Jenkins. They know how to install the Jenkins in the cloud, or on the Kubernetes, or on the RAM and CPU or VM. So they know how to manage this. So even though I can't say just give the complete Jenkins to developers. So ask developers to install the Jenkins or manage the Jenkins. They can't, because they are developers. They don't know how to install the VM. Maybe they don't know how to get the RAM and CPU from the VM. So Jenkins is a tool. Okay, so normally this two kind of tool normally managed by admins or the operations guys. So I don't want developer manage these Jenkins tools. So if the Jenkins tool is managed by admins, okay, but in the job that we create, again is created by admins, but what we fill on the job at the time of creating the job, those information is there with the developers. Okay, so now it's the biggest challenge is, again they keep on asking, but we have silos, we don't get the maybe proper updates on outputs or information, so my job might not be properly created, or maybe it might fail. And what maybe whatever they're looking for is not up to the mark. So what can we do? So we have one option for this. Okay, why can't we ask our developer they create the job? Why can't we ask a developer to they create the job? Okay, now the challenge is, if they create the job, two challenge we have. First of all, we have to ask a developer to learn how to work on Jenkins. Second is, if they create the job, I have to provide them a login name, a password of this Jenkins portal. But I don't want to provide the login password to the developers. Maybe depend the use cases or requirements. Okay, so without giving the login and password Jenkins, or without um, asking them to learn this GUI, how this GUI work. Okay, what can we do? Even though they learn the GUI, even though it's pretty straightforward, right? They have to fill it. They have to fill this information. And when if you work in any GUI, every GUI is very static. You can't do much in the GUI. And you can, for example, you can't do in this way. If this repository, just go and try, and if this repository is not available, just go and check other repository. So if you have any customization thing, right, you can't do those customization from the GUI or from web portal. Okay, so if you want any automation, right, so for my final intention is, guys, what I want my job to be created, but I don't want to create the job in this way. This is the manual method actually. I want my job also created automatically. And you guys know, I believe now, if you want to create anything automate, we need a code, because using the code only we can create some automation. But normally and typically operations guys are not the good in in the coding normally, right? They're not good in coding. Even though they might be good in coding, what to fill in the coding, they don't know. Again, they have to contact with developers, because developer is the one who will tell all the URL from where to download the code. They're the one who will tell how frequent we have to pull the SCM. So technically, what option Jenkins provide you? Jenkins has an option. Okay, you can create a job using a code. And how we code, we can ask our developers, because developers are good in coding, so we can give some more knowledge to these guys. So even though they are developers, we ask them or train them to know some more about extra coding. But this coding is not about their language like PHP or Java. This coding they will do for the Jenkins. But Jenkins is a tool that we use in the operations world. But why I have to train some more coding developer? Because they learn coding faster, because they're already developers. They know how to write if and else coding, else condition, loop functions. They can do learn faster. Plus Jenkins, in the Jenkins, we are running the job for them. So they have a better idea what actually they have to fill in the job, which from where, which repository they have to download, or how frequently they have to pull the SCM and other settings. Okay, so if they know how to write the code, plus they on themselves know what they want in the job, and you know what this code is for. This code is to create the job. So I don't want to create this job create the job by this manual method. The same job we will create using the coding. Okay, and this coding can be done by developer. So what is the benefit is, right, now developer know what exactly developer want, and developer will can do their own self-service. Okay, what I mean by self is so powerful thing. Even though if you guys are the part of my cloud computing, so when I start the OpenStack training, so there I will explain you the power of cloud computing. Even though if you really want to understand the power of self-service, so when I go for, if you would be the part of my OpenShift training, I will explain more about the power of self-service. So powerful feature in today's DevOps world we need. But in the very simplest term, right, simplest term, developer create a code, but this guys depend on my operations team for creating the job. But without the job, none of the job will download the code and deploy it to the production world or some other testing world, my application. So developer is dependent on the operation, and those dependency we would like to remove actually. I don't want my developer depend on the operations team as much as we can. I don't want, because the dependency will make the thing slow. Okay, so for this, what can we do? We can ask our developer to do their own self-service. Don't get the service from operations guys. Take the self-service. And because you are looking for the service for the Jenkins, Jenkins, right? And Jenkins main thing we do is jobs. Okay, so I'm not asking you to learn how to get the job from GUI. You are a developer. You can write the code, and when you run the code, job automatically created and automatic might be run. Okay, that's what you do. It means what our operations team is doing for you, now you do by yourself as a self-service. So if developer do some job of the operations, then this is known as DevOps. So DevOps is one of the methodology. Sometimes it's also one culture. Culture where, right, some of the thing of the operations task can be done by developer in their way, in their context. So developer maybe sometimes doesn't like to manage the things or admin the things, but they might like to do the coding. So we will give the same way, right? I'll tell all of my operation task, operation task I do that is related to you. It's not like anything it's not like this, you just go and install the VM. It is not like this as you go and manage the networking. That's I will do. But some of the task that is related to you and you depends on me. All right. So I am allocating this task to you. I'm just giving this task to you. So even though I also want you don't do this manual, you same thing you can do in the code. So you achieve the automation. Automation give the fastness plus this responsibility I am providing to you, my operation. So if some of the operation responsibility that responsibility normally operations team may do for the developer, but if you bypass or not bypass, if you give this responsibility to the developers only because they are looking from you, so provide to a developer, then this kind of culture, this kind of way we manage the thing are known as DevOps. This is the one of the example of DevOps. You'll see multiple examples here in the upcoming class, maybe today. So this is one of the example of DevOps. Okay, so it means operation task now handled by developer. But again, I'm repeating, it doesn't matter. It is not like this all operation task. They don't go for putting the network. They don't go for installing the VM. They don't do this. They will do only those operation tasks, okay, where they are dependent on the operations team. One of the example is creating the job. Now I will ask them, they will handle. And because they're the developer, so rather than they do manually, even though they can do manually, it's not like this they can't do. They can do manually the way we are doing here. Okay, but because they're developer, they know coding, they write some extra code to create the job for us. Okay, so there's from here, guys, that the DevOps world come up. So it is about way we manage the thing, right? This is about the management only, right? So our overall process will be faster. So technically it is something like this. Now from onwards, two code they will create for you. Let's say there's one website they're creating PHP. So one of the code they create for PHP. And one more code they will create, one more code they will create, and they will create this code for the job, creating the job. And now both the code, they will upload to the GitHub. So what GitHub will have? Two code. One is the PHP code or my HTML code, and one is the code for creating the job code. Okay, but now point is, guys, this is a code, but who will run this code? I get two options. Either I ask my developer, get my Jenkins login and password and run the code. Okay, but maybe in some scenario, maybe I don't want to give my login and password of the Jenkins, because this Jenkins is actually managed by admin or the operations team. So what can we do? Admin only once create one job here. Let's say job number 2. What this job will do? The job will only fetch this code of this job. Okay, they fetch this code of this job. And after the fetch, they run the job 2. So whenever job 2 run this code. And what this code will do? It will automatically create this job for you. And this, what is this job? This job, what developer is looking for. So in the future, developer want to change something in this job. Let's say they want to change the URL. They don't have to again contact to the admins, right? They just change in their code. Again, they push to the GitHub, because admin has to only create only once. They download this code that has been updated by the developer, and this code is not PHP website code. This code is about only one thing: how to create the job and what kind of thing we need in the job. So they download again they run. When they run the job update. Okay, so guys, till now we change the job. If one job run, then the second job run. Here I'm not running the job. Here job 2 creating the job 1. And after job 1 create, then whenever you want to run the job, it's about your triggers and manual trigger. That's a different point. But what I want in job 1, this one, what I want, only developer know, because they are the one who upload a PHP code. They are the one who know how much they have to keep on changing and keep on pulling in the SM system. Okay, so I'll show you. It's pretty straightforward to do. But final intention, guys, here is right. I want this job created by the developer. I want this job don't create by this copying here and there as a manual. I don't want these things. Okay, I want the job first of all created by a code. Second, I want this code is now your choice. Either developer create the job or admin create the job. Is different perspective actually. But typically, I want the job to be created by developers. Okay, I want this code. That code that will create a job will create by developers. But who will run this code first? Admin run. They run only once by pulling this code, and this code create the job. So the job they're created by admin who download this code, and the code is that is the code who create the job and new job for you. So this job who create new job for you by the code are known as seed job. Seed job. Okay, so admin will create a seed job for, because it's the seed for the new job. Okay, so very quickly let me clean my diagram and then we'll directly go to the hands-on. You will link it. You will link it, right? So it is something like this. This is my Jenkins. We will create one job one here. Who will create? Admins. And the duty of this job is nothing. Only one thing: go to the GitHub. Okay, and here we have some code. Okay, only once and first time we have to tell this job that there is a code. Download this code. This code is not for PHP or HTML. When you download this code and when you run this code automatically create one more new job for you, or maybe two more job for you, or maybe 100 job for you, or maybe you create a job chain for you. Depends what we write in the code. Okay, this code for example. So what is there in this job? What are there in the code? And what are there in the code? It has been created by the developers. So technically, without giving the login and password to the developers, they create their job. Without developer, keep on talking to admins again and again, because it's a long process. Mailing, wait for them, they will create. Okay, I don't want, right? I don't want. So they control the job, what they want to put in the job, which URL, which policy, which build, commands, all the things, Maven, whatever they want. They keep on. Maybe sometime maybe they want to clean, they want to package, they control. Testing, they control. Okay, so how they control? By writing the code. But this code is not like a normal code of PHP and Python. So Jenkins has their own language. So developer has to learn the language that Jenkins understand. And any tool, typically any of the tool, especially the operations tool or the DevOps tools, if you want to control those tools using some code, like for example Kubernetes is also a tool for operation world or the admin world. When the Kubernetes want to create some resources, so it's two-way, right? I told you the kubectl command. So there's a command, but without the command also we can use a code. We can create a code, in YAML language. So in the Kubernetes world, if you want all the resources created automatically, we use a code. And for this code, we use a language called YAML. So I can say Kubernetes use YAML language. So this is called DSL, domain specific language for the Kubernetes. For example, there's one more powerful tool I highly recommend in the future. As a DevOps engineer, you should know this. For example, Ansible, very powerful tool. Okay, so in the Ansible, again, it's managed all the infrastructure, right? So again, we have to write the code. So Ansible also have their own language. Again, this is called DSL. Typically, again, they also use YAML. So almost all the operations or the DevOps tools, either you can do manual, or most of the time we always want to do from the code. Okay. Similarly, if you want, right, in the Jenkins to create the job instead manual with the automate, and for automate we need a code. But the language that Jenkins use to create this code is also known as DSL, domain specific language. So DSL is just a common term, but which language they use? Here they use YAML. So Jenkins use a language called Groovy. So in the Jenkins world, whatever you do in the Jenkins, right? When I say whatever I do means all the things that you do in the Jenkins is a management perspective, right? Either management means to create a job or to run the job or some other things maybe, or create a users. Okay, so anything that whatever you do in the Jenkins as a management perspective or the configuration perspective, okay, there they support a language called Groovy language. So by the using the Groovy language, right? So I can ask my developer to learn the Groovy language. Or normally Groovy language is very likely to look like Java. Okay, so before this, if I ask you very small question is not so much related to this topic, but if I ask you, does this statement is right or not? Okay, you guys know JVM, Java Virtual Machine. Okay, so my question to everybody is, right, if you would like to run the code on the JVM, so we write a code in a language called Java language. We create a Java code, we compile, it become a byte, um, right, byte code, and then we run over here in the top of Java JVM. That's part you know. But does this is my right statement? Uh, for running any code on the top of JVM, guys, because JVM is the one who run your code, Java Virtual Machine. So this is my right statement to run the code on the top of JVM. We have to write our code only in Java language. So what do you think, guys? Does this the right statement? We have to write our code in only in Java language. Actually, no. Okay, Java language is one of the language, okay, through which I can convert my code into a byte code that JVM understand, and JVM is the one who run your code. But instead of Java, there's some more language available in the market. Nowadays, very famous language in the market called Scala. Scala. So when you write the code in Scala, after we compile, it also convert into byte code, and that will run on the top of JVM only. Similar, like we have, I think Closure is one of the language we can use. So there are multiple languages available. You can use Java, you can use Scala, but my code finally run. Code will convert in the same format of bytecode, and they will run on the top of JVM. And one of the language that we have in the market called Groovy. So in the Groovy also, we can write the code, we can compile with Groovy compilers. Again, they will convert a code in the same format the Java convert into bytecode, and then we can run on the top of JVM. So multiple language available for multiple different use cases. Groovy is meant for mainly for scripting world. Scala we use normally in the data science world or data analysis world. Java is a common language for everything. Okay, but finally they all these three guys or maybe some more languages we have. They run their code on the top of JVM. Okay, so that is a reason, guys. That is a reason because Jenkins is working on the top of Java. You guys know, because for the Jenkins we need a Java. Everything in the Jenkins we run on the top of Java. Okay, and what I need is to get a job. Or when I create something, normally in the admin world, automation world, operations world, we always create a script. And for the scripting that run on the top of Java, or Groove is the great language. So this might be one of the reason, right? Why why Jenkins support or in the Jenkins why we have to use Groovy. Okay, the Groovy is a kind of scripting language, something like you can say Python, but syntax is something like Java. But because Groovy work on the Java, on the top of Java, and Jenkins already have the Java, so they might choose Groovy would be one of the language on which you can write the code. But that's a very extra discussion I'm doing. But interesting thing is now in this context, this Groovy is not important here. The important is this one, right? Now developer have full control without having the full control on the Jenkins, but they have the full control on their job. that kind of self-service. So the developer has their own service. They will do their own self-service on creating the job, managing the job, or changing something in the job. Okay, by changing their code, and they have to write the code in a language called Groovy. That is again pretty simple language. I will show you today. But intention, guys, here is okay. You just have to understand the concept, right? Creating the code, you might get hundreds of examples in the market, but very rarely you get this use case. What I'm talking about, why we have to use, because anywhere you see this topic, you might sometimes see very you very simple thing. You say, why we have to make the thing complex? If we can create the job very easily from here, copy paste 2 or 3 times, so simple, why do we have to learn a language, right? So and that might be the one of the reason, right? Most of guys doesn't focus on this area. Okay, but my point is here is not about the writing the code. It is about the use case, what I'm looking for. I can't give the login and password to the developer. I don't want they manage. I want admin manage. But I want to give the complete control on the respective job. What a developer need, because they know their code. They know what they want. They know what kind of job they want to run. So this job, again, they will create using code. And because they write the code, it will be automation. Because they write using the code, we can do multiple conditions, if else, condition, for loop. So all the power of language we can apply that we can't do manually. So all extra thing also you can also achieve from here. So there's one more very powerful or interesting thing here. So let me show you guys how we can do this. But one last thing, for creating this job, we have to run a code. Who will run this code? For this, admin has to create job number 1 only once. The job will download this code, means DSL code, created by developer in the Groovy language. They download this code, they run the code, run this code, and they run this job, and this job will automatically create the job 2. And this job 2 is created according to the demand of the developers, because they put everything in the code. So here this job 1 is known as seed job, that admin has to create only once. Okay, so let me show you how we do this. And for doing this, we have to install one plugin. So I'm going to the plugins, and before I run the plugin, it fail always. So I have to start pinging. It's not an actual real thing you to ping. In my environment, due to some, maybe you have to check some ARP cache or something. But in my environment, you have to ping. Maybe in your environment might not be. So I have to I have to install one more plugin for this. And name of plugin is DSL. So we search for DSL. So you will get job DSL plugin. So this plugin will create a jobs and view for you. Okay, that's all you have to do. So I have to install this plugin. Okay, so what I'm going to do, very slowly, one step by step, I am going to show you how it works. Even though you know Groovy language, you don't know Groovy language, it's not so much required. Syntax, they support Groovy language. If you want to know more about the Groovy language syntax, you can check here. Even though there's no so much complex, if or else same statement that you normally use, or just go for variables or loop. So similar the way we have in other language, for loop, all the things. So not so much multiple document to get, even though you might not require so much thing. I will explain you thing from very zero, even though, but if you want to know more Groovy, multiple document available for this language. Okay, so let me create the thing from here, from zero. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to write a code. All right, this code will create a job for me. Okay, so let's go step by steps. Let's create a very basic code that will do something for you. Okay, so let me first start the system. And a very, very, very interesting example, guys. This is very powerful thing, even though we till date multiple jobs we have created. Okay, but we are going to create a new job, and this job will create from the code. And you know what, guys? The complete today's world, right? Till date, right? Mostly, even though not till date, from last couple of year back, we used to manage a complete infrastructure, right? Infrastructure manually, or maybe some scripting language like cell scripting or something like the bash scripting. But nowadays, because of the DevOps world, we want everything. You can think developer think like operation guys work like a developer. From there the word DevOps come in play. Even though if you want to create a directory also, you want to store the software also, I ask my operations guy, don't run the yum command to install the software. Okay, you are operation guys, but here you think like a developer, right? Write the code, and from the code create your complete infrastructure. This is called infrastructure as code. It's called IAC, infrastructure as code. We will talk about this thing, even though normally we talk this concept in mainly in Ansible, but similar concept. If you guys are part of cloud, we will talk there in the cloud formation as a one service there. I'll talk there, or maybe Heat is from OpenStack. Okay, but there you get more flavor of the DevOps. Okay, so um, um, let's write the code. This code will create infrastructure, and here the infrastructure is one of the part of the job. Okay, they will create for us. So let me log in. Okay, and I'm going to create the job. First, let's see what I'm planning to create the job. Okay, so I'm going to create the job, a null job, nothing is there. Let's say I would like to create a job. So guys, when you create the job, what do? You always give a job name. Okay, then inside the job, let's say let's say inside the job inside the job, let me first load this guy. Okay, maybe sometime you would like to put the description. Okay, this is my description. Well, let's say this is the job you have written. Let me save this. So this job we have created. Nothing, if you run anything, nothing will happen because nothing is there. They don't do anything. But this is job. What two things we have changed here? One, I give the job name, and second, we put the description. But how we create this job? This job is created by us manually, right? But my developer doesn't come here to create this job, and I don't also want to create the job manually. Same job, if you want to create using the code, how we can write the code. So let me show you how we can write the code. Okay, so code is again very simple, right? If you want to create a job, then we have one function available from the Groovy language called job function. That's all. And here just give the job name. For example, we always give the job name, say my job one. That's all. So that's all guys, code done. And when you run this code, your automatic job been created with this name. But normally in the job, what you write? For example, in the job, normally you normally you write descriptions or maybe GitHub URL. Let's say I would like to put description here. Okay. Again, for this also, okay, we have one more sub function available for the job. It's called description function. Description function. And here we can provide the description. Provide the description. For example, let's say my first description one. That's all. So as soon as I run this job, I run this job automatically created. Okay, and instead the job automatically this description also been set. Okay, but who will run this code? A Groovy will run. Okay, so technically, if you go to my this example again, who will run this job? So for running this job, we have to always create one seed job. This job once we have to create, and this job will download this code from GitHub, or maybe we can directly give the code to this job, and they will automatically create the job number 2. So let me show you. Let me give the job name. Let me give the job name AA1. Okay, and who will run this job? So for running this code, I have to create one job, and the admin is the one who created the job. Let's say DSL1. Just give some name. So this job is not doing anything. This job will download from the GitHub. What they download? This code. But I know I'm not putting this thing in the GitHub, so I'm just putting this data directly here. So in the build configuration, you see one more options come up here. It was not there previously. It's the process job DSL. Process job DSL is the one new option come up here. Okay, after you after you install the plugins, this option come up. This option come up, and what the option they're asking, right? Asking where your script is. So if you push this script from the download the script from the GitHub, you can give your local workspace where the script is. But right now I have the code with me, so I'm putting my code over here, and this is the code I have. Where's my code? Very simple code. We will go from advanced code here. This code I have put here. That's all. The code you have copied here. Okay, and but what this code will do? They create a job called A1. Okay, let me save this. And this job I haven't written yet, but before I run this job, let me go out. There's no job here, guys. A1. There's no job here, right? And we always create the job with the manual, right? But what I'm doing, as soon as I run my DSL job 1, okay, let me run from here. As soon as I run, if my syntax is right, all the function what they're looking for, right, the job will run. And what you see here, right, in the output, this job has generated a new job, because we have provided a DSL script in Groovy language. They generate a new job. Okay, and if you again go to Jenkins, you can see this job automatically created. The job is not created by us, automatically has been created. Again, we have the automation in the job also. And if you click the job, you can see description also come up here. If you go to configure, this is the way, you know, there's a description come up here. This is a job name we have. We don't have anything else here. This will come up. Okay, come up, right? Plus, if you go to this job again, you can say this job is created by seed job DSL1. This is the one who created the job. That's the reason I say this job who created the other job is called seed job. But if you go to job number 2, right, they say this job generated this job. So this is my seed job who generated this job. And how they generate this job? Using this particular code. This particular code. Okay, let's say you want to do some more thing. Let's say you want to do some more thing, right? Normally in the when you create a job, we always give our SCM. Get SCM. And for giving the SCM, we have one keyword available called SCM. We have one keyword available called SCM. Okay. So again, I'm going to create the job, or I'm going to update the same job. So let's say I'm the developer, I'm maintaining my own job. And what I want, I would like to update something in my SCM. Okay. So in the SCM, I know my code is there in my GitHub. but I'm the one who upload this code. Okay, my code is there in the GitHub. So for this, in the Groovy language from the Jenkins, they have their own function called GitHub. GitHub. Okay, and what we have to write here, we have to give the URL where my code is. So my code is there in this location. So this syntax you have to write, actually this one. You don't have to give full path. You have to just give between single quote, right, the remaining URL, because GitHub know already they have to go to github.com. This is a very common mistake we do. We don't have to give the complete URL. You have to just give your further URL where your repository is. That's all. And in the repository, maybe you have multiple branch. I just want to pull my master branch. This master branch I want to pull. Master branch. That's all, guys. So technically, if you again understood, guys, this is been written by or developing by developers. Means they are creating their own job, what they want in the job, because they are the one who know where uploading the code. But I'm not saying developer is the one. Maybe you are the admins. You can also write. But the why these options come up, so we can train our developers and ask them to write your own jobs, provide the job code to the admin, and they will seed it and create the new jobs. So if my again syntax is right, let me show you. So again, I'm putting this thing into my seed job. Okay, again save and apply, and everything's good. They again create the job. They generate this job again, same job. And if I go to this job, this is generated by this job. And now if you go to configure, without coming to configure, maybe this is the first time you're seeing. All right, you can see auto discuss updated, plus this also updated, plus this also updated. Okay, and if you see, they pick the master branch. Okay, they automatically updated this thing for us. Okay, but let's say you also want to do one more thing. You want to update the build triggers. Okay, it's not there. So I want my triggers, it's keep on polling the SCM every minute. Again, one more function available we have. Okay, so we have one option function called triggers. Okay, triggers. And it's one thing, guys, notice here, SCM is not a function. SCM is just a key actually here to tell we are doing something in the SCM. Similarly, the multiple things you can do in the triggers. So trigger is the one of the key. But which trigger you want to set? I want to set SCM trigger. And normally SCM trigger you always give time, star every minute. That's all. So which means I am updating my trigger area. This trigger area. This area I'm updating, and this poll SCM, I think they update poll SCM, I believe. Okay, so they update my this part, I believe. The automatic update. Let me run my code again. Okay, so I again go to my my this one. No, my main seed job. Again, update this code, save, and I build this guy. And this job is, guys, created by admins. And again, you don't have to manually run this. Again, you can set the trigger. When the developer update the code, they automatically run it. Okay. And now if you see automatic, description also updated, GitHub also updated, plus this part again also updated. So we are creating a very interesting, actually. It is updated. Now the biggest thing is how you come to know this keyword informations. How you come to know function name is Git or GitHub or what? And what is the syntax we have to use? How you come to know? For this, we have very beautiful documents available for the DSL, for the Groovy, for the Jenkins. So when you've configured your first initial job called CD job, here they give you an URL here, DSL job API reference. If you click this URL, there's a beautiful um, documents available. Okay, for the um, uh, for this all this keyword and the functions. So whatever you can do in the Jenkins, okay, in the terms of creating the jobs, right? They have this document created. It's taking some time because of they are loading locally. So 1 minute. Let me again go to my VM where Jenkins is running, because they're actually fetching the data from my local VM. So first let me log in. Let's check my intents working. Yeah, come up. So here guys, they give you all tons of options. What do you want to do? So whatever you know till now, you can go and search. Or you can find the option. For example, if you search, for example, I want to do something with HCM. So just try search HCM. You can see multiple keyword related to SCM come over here. So to do poll SCM, and you want to do something trigger. So right now guys, because we are doing something on the freestyle job, right? So the job that we have created is a freestyle job. The job we have created here is a freestyle job. Okay. And in the freestyle job, we want to do something in the SCM. So you can say here in the freestyle job, if you do something SCM, right? So this is the document for this. And guys, this is the same exact example I show you right now. Same exact example. SCM and the GitHub and this one. They show you here. Okay. So this part, even though if you click detail, they will show you more options here. You just want to have Git or GitHub because we have local Git server also, we can use Git. Or if you want to pass protocol name on the GitHub or some more thing. SVN if you want to use, Git SCM if you want to use, they show you all the further options. So this is a very great document to do the things. For example, if you search for triggers, okay, TRIGGR, triggers. So again, in the freestyle job, we are using the freestyle job here mostly till now. So click here, they give you triggers. So this is the exact triggers we have run, right? Triggers SCM, triggers SCM. So logic, you don't have to memorize these keywords. Okay, memorize this keyword because I keep on doing so. I by chance remember some keywords, but don't have to memorize. You should know your logics, what exactly you would like to achieve. Then go for this document, you can achieve it. And here, this is syntax of cron tab, right? Same you can use there. So in the same you can write, or maybe you can write here. They give you some more options here. You want to run the job with cron tab and gate or upstream. Poll. You want to do poll SCM, periodic. Multiple options we have there. We can write here in the triggers. Okay, let's take one more example here. Let's say you know what normally you do when you create the job. Okay, so if you remember guys, one typical example we see initially when you create a job, when you create the job, right? First you put the description, but normally we give the get URL. And what we do when we run this job, they download this data. Okay, every minute they keep on checking also. And because they download this data, this contain HTML code. So we want to put the HTML code in my Apache web server. And for the Apache web server, we run some command. And typically we put into Docker. We put in the Docker. Okay, so if you remember guys, something like that, Docker run -dit -name, let's say my web one, we give Okay, and we run this, and maybe some port number like 80, 85, then 80. Then we use some image. Okay, and maybe after we put, we mount this guy. Okay, so if you remember the initial example, initial topic. So whatever data we download in my current location, either can put dot or dollar path, mount this into the where www html. Okay, and use some image. For example, if you remember, initially we use HTTP image, and then we use sudo here. Very typical example we have seen initially, guys. And by chance, HTTP image actually created using Ubuntu, and there the path is not where HTML. I think the path is USR local, USR local. I think Apache 2 / st docs. Okay, it will be anything. Depend. You can now you guys can create all your own image also. So what happened? What is this dollar path? Dollar path is current location. Okay, so when when you run this job, they download this code into your workspace. And what is the location workspace? We don't know. So using the dollar path, we come to know what is the location. Okay, we can put here. Okay, maybe we can fix one path. Let's say slash web. So we download some code and put in the slash web and mount from here. So multiple options you have. But for this guys, again, I'm doing manually here. I don't want to do manual. Okay, I want also this build step also to be done automatically. And this build step, which step you use? Okay, the multiple options you use. You use Maven, you use Windows shell, you use other thing, Docker. But here I use shell. Okay, so instead I do manually. I can also write here. Okay, after my job created, this is my SCM. This is the trigger I want, and I want one more thing. And normally, in the Jenkins world, if you see the build steps, these are known as steps. So what is steps you would like to pick? You would have to pick, and you want to pick the step for the Windows batch cell or batch prompt, or from the cell, or batch script, or from the cell, or the Maven. So I don't know the syntax. So again, I go to document, and if I search, do you have something for cell? So they show you in the cell. Yes, we have for step context, right? It means because cell is a normally part of step. Step means this step, build step. They say yes, we have. If you click here, they show you this example. So this is very simple example they give you here. Just copy this code. That's all. Okay, they copy this code. And here, instead of the echo, we know our command. Right? We know our command. We know our command. We deploy there. Command is bigger. Normally in the Kubernetes, we have just only one deployment command. Even though maybe the developer don't use this command, we already given a pre-created Kubernetes setup. So when anything deploy, they automatically been updated. RSR and deployment strategy we can set from there. Okay, so I think let me check. Is sudo docker run name dit port number where you want to mount, wherever you want to mount, and your HTTP. That's all. So now let me copy this code. So developer is the one who created this code, or not only developer, maybe admin might be, because if you want also automation, right? They put in there. I'm not saving from here. I'm putting into my seed job. Seed job. That's all. Okay, and I run this. And when I run this, automatically that job will create it. So it is my run. Now, if I click, If you see, it is everything is configured without touching this job. Here, it's also come up. And now because this is poll SCM, okay, they keep on checking, or maybe let me run over here. So I'm running this job. Behind the job, they are downloading from the GitHub. But this job is managed completely by um, completely by the developers. Okay, and they run the job. It's successful. There's no fail. Okay, it succeed. And Docker container launch. If you go to this portal, you see this spectral multiple time, and you can get it, get your data. Okay, so this is the one, right? Now, even though we can set some more thing here, maybe I'll show you in the future. Pretty straightforward. It failed, but this job is now managed by managed by your developer. They can also put their own notification here. So they have some more notifications here. They can put. Okay, and they can put their notification about endpoint, and there are some more notification we had show in the future about emails and all the things. Okay, so if they're job fail, because they are the one who manage that, they know their email ID, so they get their own mail notification that this job fail and something like this. Okay, so so they get the notifications. Okay, why it's failed, or maybe some endpoint of my SMS, all right, or whatever you would like to put. And now interesting thing is, now my job is been now been you know, been configured by code, and this code in is there in the Groovy code. Okay, so now I can apply all the concepts of the Groovy. Okay, so in this code, where's my code? Okay, this part power, this doesn't get from the Jenkins portal. So in this code, okay, and understand one thing, guys. If you remember the Kubernetes, in Kubernetes we use YAML language. But if you remember, guys, in the we write the code in the YAML language, we use one keyword like kind keyword. We use API version, if you remember, in the Kubernetes. So these are the keywords, not from the YAML. These are keyword created by Kubernetes. Similarly, these are the keyword SCM triggers. It's not a Groovy keyword. Jenkins is the one who created this keyword. But here the syntax that we use is Groovy. And Intel, they also run this code on the Groovy. So what can we do? Okay, we can write multiple logics here. If else, okay, if this otherwise else, if this otherwise else, okay, multiple steps you want to run, create, you can create the for loop. Okay, so here all the concepts of the Groovy, right? So just go to Groovy language, you can apply there. Multiple come on, Groovy, you can apply here. So the concept that I'm talking about, maybe just go to any other points. So just wherever document you have. Okay, so you can apply if else loop, decision making like if else, if it's statement. If this is not, else this do this. So multiple thing you can apply, or maybe you can fetch some environmental variable, check if this is this OS do this, other this is Ubuntu do this. Those kind of context you can set. So I'm not going for the Groovy language here, okay, but this is the syntax of Groovy only. But just by learning, because I believe half an hour, 1 hour more than enough to learn any of the basic language. Apply this, and now this code will be more granular, more customization you can do in this code. Okay, so this guys all about the concept of, let me enter this so I can share this code to you. One minute. Okay, so this is about the concept of your DSL language. Multiple, again I'm repeating, multiple different keywords here, but depend upon your requirement, what you know. You guys know about list view, right? list view. So to create a list view, you can use this code. And initially we create a list view, or you want to folder create deliver pipeline view. So just click here. So we can create your own delivery pipeline view. Okay, so maximum code they have given you, but whatever you guys know about the Jenkins, so I suggest whatever you know, come here, search, and they have the examples, they have the full details. Okay, and try to build it. Okay, that makes more logical. So that's what you do. Even though there is one more concept here in the Jenkins, right? There is more powerful. Uh, Even though the concept is same, okay, from that concept we can create some more advanced thing. So I also try to take this topic also. That's called Jenkins pipeline. So if you guys remember, we have already taken build pipeline or delivery pipeline, some plugin we install. So one more plugins we have called Jenkins pipeline, where they also give you options to write some more advanced code, to do some more advanced creation, multiple pipeline, multiple job chaining, multiple pipeline create. And that maybe that example might give you the holistic or detailed concepts of to create a pipelines for the assembly line. We will talk. I would have to take one separate lecture on this particular part. But that's about guys about um, uh, that's about the concept of about DSL. But it's so powerful, very interesting, very interesting. I suggest you do this job. If you guys have done my the last example. So if I given you one homework, right? Where I ask you to create job one, then pipeline with job two, pipeline job three. Job one is downloading, job two is, I think, I don't remember my complete homework. Is deploying Kubernetes, they're copying the code there. So these job you have created manually. Now you logically understood what your need is in these jobs. Okay, so I suggest do the same homework, or maybe a little bit lighter homework. Okay, same job you create, but don't create the job using your manual, right? Write a code in DSL. It's called Jenkins DSL. Just go and create this. So I suggest do please this part. Okay, it's very interesting. Even though just try with one first job, first homework, then keep on changing to it. So take a practice from now onwards in the Jenkins. Whatever you do, whatever you do first manually. Go for this particular document. Okay, and try to find your keywords. And one by one, all the smaller steps convert into the job. So do it, very very much powerful thing. You will really enjoy. All right. Maybe let's say if you talk about Maven. So if you guys, in the last class I talk about Maven, right? So you can create the Maven job, or you can set the Maven steps. Okay, so these are the example of Maven, right? If you remember, guys, in the Maven series, we said this is step of clean and verify. Okay, and I have given the POM file. That's all. So just do it, or maybe some extra options of Maven you can set. But just run the job till here. Okay, put the job here. That's all. And this close this and close this. Instead of verify, let me write clean. And last class I took this, and also I also want to give POM file. So after this, I give in the current location I have my POM file. So this is the Maven part we have done. Copy, and when I run this, okay, they create. And again, if you go to this guy, you can see the Maven also configured. So one build step you have configured. You have configured. in this job? Is this not configured? Maybe some of the option we might miss. Okay, just check. Actually, you know what, because I changed my job name. Is become example actually. So my this is not the job, right? Because in that example I write example. So maybe just see this one is the one he created. The seed job is this one, and now in this job they create a Maven for you. You know, says the gold clean package they create for you. And if you go to advanced, they might put this name. Okay, so it's just so interesting. If you know the Maven, you can do it. Otherwise, obviously, you can't. Okay, similarly like testing and other things, whatever field you are in, we can write up test cases. Yeah, Cucumber and almost all the things, MS test and JUnit unit test, they support this, right? So depend upon the technology, you can write the respective job. Also, if you try to check about the Docker, if they have, yes, Docker also have. Okay, so in the Docker we publish the Docker URL and URI, if you remember. So that's what the thing. Okay, some of the example might not give you so much details. Docker shell commands. Okay, just try it. So that's all, guys, for today. Even though I can also pick Prometheus, I'm not picking the Prometheus today. I just want to give one small homework, right? Because maybe tomorrow class it might help you. Okay, so what I'm doing here, I'm launching Minikube. Let's try do this, guys. Try this homework. It is very interesting to do. So you know what? Right now, if you remember in my last class, I launched Grafana, and we also launch Prometheus on the top of Kubernetes. But whenever you restart your Kubernetes or restart your pod, all the data of the Prometheus and Grafana are removed. And obviously, we don't want it. I don't want to remove my graphs and visuals in the data. This is my critical data, right? So, how to make it permanent? So, one thing is PVC, right? That's what you know. But challenge is here in the Prometheus. If especially if we talk about the Prometheus, okay, in Prometheus we have two different kind of data that we change. One is my database data. This is called time series database. And if you remember, guys, in my Prometheus, I keep on going to the Prometheus configuration file. That is Prometheus.yml. And here I keep on adding my targets, means from where I have to retrieve the metrics from. Okay, so the challenge is, right, if your Prometheus server is running inside the pod and you want to get the power of the pod, if something failed, automatically my replica set to deploy automatically start. But after the restart, right, your data based from this data removed, plus what are changes you didn't do in the configuration file also been removed. Okay, so in this context, if you want to make your data permanent, so technically my database data store in one folder, let's say / data folder. So we can mount one PVC here. This part you know. So there's no challenge. Okay, PVC we can mount on the top of folder. But this is the file. We can't mount any storage on the top of the file. Okay, so how can you resolve this? So my final intention is, right, this file data, okay, will be permanent after port restart or recreated or restart, whatever the case would be, or fail and again restart. Okay, so this part you can do. If you know the location, you can mount the PVC. That's the same way we do in the WordPress and the MySQL. But something changed in the configuration file that we keep on changing, right? How we can resolve it, how we can solve it. Because this is a file, we can't mount PVC. PVC is like a storage. We can't store, we can't mount the storage on the top of the file, normally in normal form, right? So technically, this is one small homework, guys. You just try maybe some small trick you can use. So I want my Grafana Grafana, and Prometheus pod to be permanent in terms of storage also. So these are started. So if you remember in my last class, I started this pod, but now if I go to these guys, you won't get your data. Everything's been lost. So if I go to my port number of Grafana, so in the last class, set my login and password, right? I set some visuals. But here, if you try to log in again, there's a new system come up. They again asked to change. There's a very new portal come up. Okay, again asked to put kind of the Prometheus, all the things. Okay, same thing. If you go to Prometheus, this is the port number of the Prometheus. This is my node IP of my Kubernetes. Come up, right? And none of the thing is there. All the target, last 2 or 3 targets we have added, nothing is there. Why? Because if you go to the pod of this Prometheus, how you go inside the pod, you guys know. kubectl execute it, this pod name -, sh. Okay, this is the file we used to configure. Okay, I have to keep on changing the file. After reboot, again my file removed. So how to make this file permanent, or the data of this file permanent? That is the one task I have given to you. But my database data is there, some folder. Maybe I think this might be in, let me check, might be, I think, I don't have to check. Somewhere they store, maybe in the where folder somewhere. Okay, so maybe in the Prometheus folder, I think here. Vomit, Prometheus. Yeah, here it is. So this is the folder where they store your database. So what can do? We can create one PVC and mount here. Where? Here. Exactly same we did in the MySQL. Okay, but your configuration file is there. So I don't want to mount the complete folder. I just want to only make it permanent this file. I don't want to mount permanent this files. Okay, I just want to permanent this file. So how we can do this? Just try this. But in the Grafana, there's no SS configuration file, maybe something. So maybe just go in. So finally, after my system reboot, because it's running on the top of pod, how we can make it permanent. So finally, guys, my intention here after 1 or 2 days, right? I want from Jenkins to Grafana to Prometheus, everything will run on the top of Kubernetes, and everything to be persistent. That's what we want, and everything to be managed by deployment configuration or deployment. Okay, so that is our intention over here. So in the future, anything as I launch my Kubernetes, we a complete entire system will come up. Okay, so that will be, and if you do this, you might face sometimes some issues. So I might introduce you one more topic. Even though this topic is not part of our core program, but I might introduce you to solve some of the use case if you do this. So for the topic is called Helm. It's a package manager for the Kubernetes. So like, in the Python, we have pip as a package manager. In Red Hat, we have yum as a package manager. And similarly in the Kubernetes, Helm is a one kind of package manager, solve multiple use cases. Okay, it's not part. Let's see if we have got the time, we will do it. But I suggest take this as a homework. Try to make it permanent, everything, and do things. So there's 2 homework, guys. One, try to permanent Prometheus and Grafana, especially this file. Second homework is create your last task, whatever given. Don't do manually. Create a job DSL or Jenkins DSL to create the jobs. 2 homework. So that's it, guys, for today. Tomorrow again you have a class. Maybe tomorrow we will go for more advanced Prometheus query languages. So any queries if you have, guys, you can ask me. This is one great question everybody asks me. If everything done by by the developer, so why we need the operations team? Again, tons of things operation team will do. This reason this if you guys understood right, this reason I keep on talking you. I'm not asking the developer to do everything. I'm asking whatever you are depend on the operations team. Take that responsibility to you. But operation guy has to do multiple things from security to admin to server launching, VM planning, strategy, data center management. Hundreds and hundreds of jobs they have right with them. But because they are so busy, so I don't want my developer stuck and they keep on waiting for the operations team to create the just for the job or run the jobs. Okay. So for running the job, you guys know, I told you one one trigger I show you, initially in classes. So that trigger developer have, they will developer run the job anytime. Okay. This trigger I'm talking about. So developer will create this trigger because they are the one who create this job. They create this trigger and they can run their job whenever they want. But who will get the job? There's a big challenge. So I'm just wanted to give this responsibility and say developer, just think like an operations guys and do some of the responsibility of the operations, keep with you and do the things. No, I actually, guys, maybe some my guys were asking how to copy this code here. Okay, so I'm just copying this code to make it faster. You don't have to copy actually. Okay, so this code you don't have to copy here. Okay, you don't have to copy here. You have to look on the file system. Okay, and where the file system is. So again, this is the seed job. My admin write one git URL, and from this URL, right, this code be downloaded. That is created by our developers. Okay, and then we write the file name here, script name here. Then they run it. So this is the way actually it work. But I show you directly putting the code to make the thing faster. Okay. Yes, Naman, I'll try to take a Kubernetes cluster class. Um, I'll try, right? My intention, because cluster class, according to me, is important, but it's not so much important with the flow we are going on. Because finally, even though if you create the cluster, right, the final command should be same. Create deployment and YAML, everything is same. So I don't want to waste the time there. But yeah, definitely if I get the time in this training, we'll definitely cover Kubernetes cluster also. Where to use Maven project? Maven, Maven. Maven is a one tool called build tool. It used mainly and only in Java projects. So if you have a Java project, Java code, and you want to compile it, test it, it's called unit testing, or plus create a package software so they can deploy in the app server. So there we use Maven. That's all. But most of the time in the real world, maximum time we use a Java code. So we'll do. I'll try to take one introduction to Kafka and Ansible. I'll try Luxman if I can do. It's a powerful topic, very interesting. I really like Ansible, but I'll try. When you come to Bhopal, I'll definitely try Bobby. Um, okay. Even though before the COVID, I have a great plan to travel multiple cities in India to interact with you guys, but it has been cancelled. But we'll see in the future. How can we scrape the target from the Prometheus UI? Yes, 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 definitely. We will do the widget. Multiple even advanced things we're gonna do in the Prometheus, because in the DevOps environment, complete pipeline, we have to use Prometheus for multiple things, not only for automation, for other decision making also we will do. What is DSA? What context, Raghav, you are asking? DSA is multiple platform has a multiple DSA. Which platform you're talking about? Why we need everything automated? Because automation give you a speed, Amar, right? It give you speed, rapid. We need everything to be very faster, right? In this competition world. How to run create a job using Groovy. And that's why I show you, right? How to create the job. Uh, Ankita, yes, there's multiple way to build automatically. One of the example I show you right now. This is the one example. 1 minute. You can write some, this remote build. So if you remember in the initial classes, I create this URL and we give this URL to the developers, and developer run it manually, or they put this URL in your Git hooks. So as soon as they commit, they automatically run the job. So this is the one of the great way we can use. Plan to start Ansible batch. Yeah, I'll definitely, Gopal, I'll try. Let's see. It's all upon the time actually. I'll definitely try to start the Ansible batch. Yes, Deepak, I a priori code of your machine learning I put, I think, in the cloud batch. Or so I'll again, after this training today, I will again copy. Mukesh, yeah, I'll definitely tell you about Ansible line, assembly line. Don't worry, just wait for 3-4 more days. Okay, now in the final, you can see if I have all the concept I plug together, I'll say, now this is assembly line. How can't we mind PVC on the Docker? PVC on Docker is no, but Docker is just a name of the concept, right? We don't mount a PVC on the Docker. We mount PVC on some folder, and the folder would be inside your Docker OS. Okay, but Docker doesn't directly support PVC. PVC is a concept of Kubernetes. If you want to use a PVC kind of concept in Docker, we have storage, right? So if you go to my Docker classes, so there I have discussed you about the storage. So Docker has their own storage concepts we can use. Okay. So Raghav, there's no actually concept of DSL versus DSA. So I think the DSL that I show you here is a domain specific language. Like in Kubernetes, we use YAML. Like in Jenkins, we use Groovy. But I think what DSA you heard about is your DSA that you learn in your colleges, your data structures and algorithms. So these are altogether very, very different things. There's no comparison. Normally, Pranav, a seed job is managed by the admins. They're the one who create the seed job, and that seed job will run the code of the developers. Yes, Hirendra, I'll definitely try to go for CLI for the Jenkins. Definitely, I'll try. Actually, you are absolutely Akul. It is right. After the release of the OpenShift, now industry move more toward the OpenShift, and all those concepts of what we are learning can very easily be done by the OpenShift. I really highly agree with this point. That is the reason I highly promote nowadays OpenShift a lot. Uh, but but depend upon the industry to industry also. OpenShift now come by, but this tool is there already in these industries. So some industry already migrated or planning to migrate, but some industry might not be. So there you can see Jenkins and this kind of tools. This is one thing. Plus some of the things that can't be done by OpenShift. Okay, for example, I don't know use, even though we can use, but I don't know use OpenShift for backups. Very basic example, then you can use Jenkins there. or maybe some other environment also. So that's what. Okay, so both the two have a different use case, but yeah, mainly if you want to release your products, you want to deploy your products, and as a software perspective, you want to manage the complete life cycle from getting from the get to deployment. That pipeline completely is very powerfully managed by OpenShift. There's no doubt on it. Is for a monitoring app, you can go for Jalaj App Dynamics, but App Dynamics is only meant for APM. So depend which kind of monitoring you want to do. So APM is a great tool, no doubt, but it is only meant for yeah, it's called FD, is only meant for APM, application performance monitoring. So if you want to monitoring the only application performance, your code performance, sometimes your database performance, so you can go for App Dynamics. But from the app Dynamics, they're not great to monitoring your Kubernetes, or not great to monitoring your Linux server, Windows server. Even they have the options, but they don't have great on it. They're meant for APM only. Okay, so guys, try this. Yes, Bharat, I will try to take one class on cryptography where I will talk about SSL certificates. Even though it's not part of this training, but in my IAC Rise channel, because it's a very common topic, everybody should know. So I'll take this training there. It's again free, would be free of cost, but when I'll take, I will soon announce. I'll try to take the complete cryptography topic. Teach us Splunk. Yeah, definitely, Rohit. I'll try. Definitely, I'll try. Yes, Jalaj, microservice is very important. Even though multiple corporates recommend keep on coming out microservices and service mesh and Istio. So maybe I don't know, but I thought this very very high end topic. I'm planning to have one batch of microservices, but it's not yet planned. But me and my team is thinking on it. So if we launch, we very very powerful advanced program from Red Hat they launched recently of microservices with managed by Kubernetes and service mass. So we might launch, but it's not right yet till yet the date we finalized. Which college did you pursue engineering? Manna, don't ask me my college name. Uh, Even though it's not actually matter actually which college you passed, but none of the company ask you, right? It's all depend how much you know that have the value in the market. Can you create a multiple job by code? Yeah, yes, you can do yeah, Yasank. That would be one of the topic when I go for um, Jenkins pipeline. It look like multiple job will create in there. I will show you. Have you planned to come to Pakistan? Definitely, Mohammed. I would love um, to meet you guys. Right, definitely. So yeah, if Mohit, if I get a chance to talk on Ansible, so because SAF and the Puppet is a competitor of Ansible, maybe that time I will give you the high level overview if we got the time. Um, the ones this part I already discussed in my very detail in my initial class of Jenkins. So we did already one very interesting practical, I think in the initial second, fourth, third, fourth classes of our this training. Okay, so this is for the authentication of this URL. So nobody can use this URL. Only those guys who have the authentication token, like a password. Okay. So that's all, guys, for today. See you tomorrow, and we'll do some more things. Right. Bye. Good day and good night. Good night, guys.